Hey folks, Orlando Prepper coming at you again. I know I usually show you products or how to build something, but today we're going to do something a little different. And I'm going to show you something you shouldn't buy. Thanks for dropping in to see what we got going here today. Want to touch on a couple things. Sure, you're very aware of, but I don't know if you know how they're going to actually affect each other. It could get very bad, so hopefully it won't happen, but you need to be ready just in case. First one's the situation in Ukraine. Everybody sees what's happening. It's it's going to be terrible if war does break out there. I really don't understand why this administration is so dedicated to protecting the most corrupt country in the world. We get very, very few resources from there. And the ones that we do, we can easily get from more legitimate countries. So I don't know why President Biden is so dedicated to that country. Uh, Maybe it's got something to do with Hunter's business. I don't know. But they really need to be careful over there because right now we have 1.3 million military personnel in all of our branches. That's 1/3 of 1% of our population. And if we go to war on two fronts, which is a very, very good possibility, there's no way that number of people can fight two wars overseas and protect our country at the same time. It's impossible. What I see coming, and could very well be wrong, but I'm not a military expert, but if it was me and I was one of the higher ups in the Russian military or the Chinese military, I would contact my counterpart and I would schedule a simultaneous attack in the territories that they want to take over respectively. That way China could just walk into Taiwan and Russia would pretty much be able to walk into Ukraine. Now there would be a lot of back and forth as far as fire goes, and it could easily get way out of hand. It could easily go nuclear, especially with North Korea wanting to test the waters in Japan, and if it could just break out into World War III really quick. So you need to keep monitoring that, keep an eye on it, see what you can figure out as far as what's going to be best for you if this does happen. And that's another thing I want to touch on is the food situation. The way things just are not available here the way they used to be, the way they should be and could be, if just a few changes were made here and there. But right now it's bad. It's really bad, guys. Food situation, supply chain is getting worse every day. You can see that when you walk into a supermarket, that you got bare shelves pretty much everywhere. Here in Florida, we held out. Been pretty good the last couple of months, better than most parts of the country, but now we're starting to see it here. You go into a Walmart, you go into Publix, you go into Winn-Dixie, you're just seeing empty shelves. You're seeing where the meat counter is no longer stocked well. Produce, very little produce. Right now we're just, we're hanging on here. There really hasn't been a bad problem yet, but occasionally we'll go in to get something and it's not there, and hopefully it'll get better. But these two situations can tie in together. If we go to war in Ukraine and then Russia makes their move on Taiwan, then the supply chain here is going to dry up because our efforts overseas is just going to make things much harder here in the United States. God bless every member of our military. I know they're going to do everything they can to protect freedom where they're sent to protect it. As long as it's freedom they're protecting and not business interest. I don't think American fighting personnel should be fighting to protect corporations' interest overseas. But that's just me. You might think it's okay. But I think that it's going to get to a point, if war does break out over there on two fronts, where we're going to have to worry more about what's going on here in the United States and a lot less about what's going on over there. Thank goodness we have an ocean on each side of our continent, and it would be very difficult for any country to move an invasion force across those oceans without being detected. But if that does happen, this thing's going to escalate out of hand. It will get out of hand, there's no doubt. Hopefully it'll never get to that point, but let's get back to the food. Foods are getting hard to get, and it's only going to get worse. Prices are getting higher, and they're only going to increase. You need to get out there and get that food, guys. Got to get out there and get it. Get you some water. Not just get water, find a way to clean water, especially here in Florida. We got water everywhere. If you just find a way to clean it, it'll be healthy for you to consume. Water will be abundant if you just find a way to clean it. Of course, the simplest method is to boil it. But there's other equipment out there nowadays that just make it a kind of a scoop and drink kind of thing that you really need to look into. They're great products, great Catadine water filters. I have one of those myself. You got life straws. Just stick that straw down in the water and start sucking it up. It's perfectly healthy. You need to consider some of those. As far as your food goes, you need to get some dehydrated food, some freeze-dried food. And just like all other foods, those things are getting higher and higher every day and more scarce. In November of last year, one of the biggest emergency food suppliers in the country had to shut down because they couldn't get product to process and put on the market. Thankfully, they opened back up this month. They make great food. I'll plug them. Augustin Farms. They make good food. Mountain House is good to buy. Some of the other stuff I wouldn't recommend. I won't name those here. There are other good foods out there, but you can go to Walmart, find canned meat, rice, beans, pasta. Long-term food is available right there on that store shelf if we can find it. That's the thing right now. Get out there and get them, guys. Don't worry about those dates on those cans. Don't worry about it. That says best buy. It don't say expires. Those canned foods are good for 5 to 8 years beyond that date. Still tasty, still healthy. Just get out there and get you some and stick it back, okay? Water, if you're going to buy water, for every 2 people in your household, you need 1 gallon a day. Federal requirement used to be 1 gallon per person per day. But that included hygiene as well as consumption. But with the different cleaning methods we have now that are safe, like the hand wipes and products like that, you don't have to wash those hands every time you eat. You just wipe them off with those handy wipes, and bam, you're not going to pass any pathogens into your body off of your hand. So stock up on those too. But now, let me show you something you shouldn't buy. Something I don't recommend. And hopefully it'll never come down to me having to eat these. These, hope that focuses. These are called Lifeboat Food. If you like sugar and flour, dry, mixed, you'll love these. If you want to know what these taste like, get you a spoonful of sugar, spoonful of flour, drop them in your mouth. That's the taste you're going to get. Plus, listen to this. think they kept that in a ceramic kiln for a couple hours before they put it in that package. When you bite into that, it's like shards of glass in your mouth. But has a lot of calories in it, a lot of nutrition. Hopefully I'll never have to get down to eating that, but I had to try it. So that's something right there that I got to say, no, don't buy that. All right, with that, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to ask you guys to stay strong, stay patriotic, even if you don't like the current administration. We're still America. Don't forget that. And pray for this country. I'm the Orlando Prepper, and I'm out of here.